XQC got banned. Oh no. Who could have seen this coming? No! How is this fucking possible? I doubt he did. I bet it's just a meme. I'm sure he probably hasn't. Most anime companies don't even know what the fuck the internet is right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if he just never gets in trouble for it. All power to him, I guess.
Last year, one of my good friends who runs the YouTube channel Oki's Weird Stories started posting some interesting tweets. Then back in November, I sent out a tweet talking about how I really needed a vacation.
Why would anyone willingly eat cum?
My friend
I don't know, man, ask your
reached
mother.
out and invited me
Am I
on
an
a
expert?
once-in-a-lifetime trip. Something he had been planning for months. The result of that trip ended up being a collaboration
This was such a good
between
video
he and I
from
on a
Oki.
30-minute documentary that appeared on his channel called How I Infiltrated a Bizarre Conspiracy Cult, about how Oki was able to get into the inner circle of a group of people convinced that they are genetically enhanced super soldiers.
I am a super soldier. I've been involved in the
Secret Space Program, baby.
For at least 330 years.
Elite fighting machines with superpowers, tasked with fighting Fourth Reich Germans and aliens on Mars. It really is one of the wildest videos that has come out so far this year, and I'm really not the only one saying that.
Thanks, Reese, about
That was
Paka.
amazing. This
Hey!
is criminally underrated for the work that went into
We're
this.
here, baby!
Dude flew out from Canada to Las Vegas to a secret space program meeting in order to have an interview with the #1 figure in secret space program super soldier lore. Like that is what it's all about, baby.
So if you haven't watched it
How
yet,
cute.
you're gonna want to do that. To truly
What
appreciate
a
what you're
sweetheart.
about to see in this video and the stories about our trip, you really kind
Thanks,
of need the
Brian.
full context, which is delivered beautifully
Albanian?
by Oki. Links in the description.
You are a samurai?
Yeah.
And I was a gladiator.
That's one thing I love
discovered
about
my
James.
own
He always
earth-shattering
one-ups.
previous life as well. So basically, I am evidently Space Jesus. I am the messiah of the blue Arcturian alien race species. And they are patiently awaiting my return after I've gained enough experience here on Earth to return to my home planet. And
Did we
lead
meet the
my people to
Arcturians last
salvation.
time? I know we met the shapeshifters and everything. Dude needs more EXP. True, yeah. He has to level up.
Congrats, dude. I know how hard you worked on that, man.
Yeah, you helped me with it a whole bunch.
Just walk me through again, like, how you first got introduced to that topic.
Oh yeah, so it started like this almost like a day or two after I started my Discord server. Well, there was like 15 people or so that ended up joining a voice chat. And actually, a lot of those
God,
guys
I love
ended
the
up
Secret
being,
Space
like, really
program.
regular core members of like my Discord.
Oh,
so
God
one of
damn,
them,
Lou.
the guy Babes for Christ, I mentioned in my video.
Thanks, Reese,
He was the one
Thank you
who
for
first
the big
told me
69
about this.
gift
And
subs,
the
man.
first guy
Jesus.
he told me about was this guy, Captain Randy
Thank you,
Kramer,
Lou.
who said that he was a genetically enhanced super soldier who fought insectoids on Mars and stuff. So I looked that guy up. And I'm like,
We
oh,
unfortunately
God,
didn't get
this
to learn a
guy's
lot about
like
him.
fucking- he's stone-faced while talking about this insane sci-fi pulp fantasy, and it was
Thank
just
you for the
funny
10 gift
how
subs again,
people in the
Murky.
comments
Thank you,
actually
Murky.
seem to believe him.
Resub X.
We didn't get into half of the stuff that I personally thought was just the most insane stuff. Dude, you and I sat
Thanks to Tier 1
and
Lemur.
listened as this lady channeled Albert Wesker from Resident Evil.
Greetings, Dr. William Birkin. Are you there?
Yes, thank you.
What was the goal, well, I guess your goal with working with the G virus? What was your main thing?
Oh, I forgot all about the G virus.
My aim was to create a virus that would mutate the human vessel into a more superior version of that vessel, utilizing virological material
You going to bed?
to create a bioorganic.
I'll come say goodnight in a minute.
Yeah. By the way, not Resident Evil the video game, Resident Evil the movies.
Right,
I don't
okay.
think that's they have it all over.
Yeah,
the
easy
war,
to
but
get
they-
confused.
For some reason, I don't know.
They just like the movies, not the video games. And also,
Thanks
if
to
you
Tier
remember
1.
the kind of the
Morris
age
and
range
the
of the
recent
people that were
Sharks and
there,
Prime and Period.
they didn't really seem too interested in the video games. Although they did have the Mirror's Edge stuff.
Okay, here, I guess if people don't know what this is about. Last time, well, like a week ago, we learned about the Secret Space Program from Oki. Secret Space Program is a conspiracy group that believes they've all unlocked memories of their earlier life where in 1940-something, Nazis split off from Earth and created a spacefaring civilization where the Nachtwaffen and New Schwabenlanders now control the galactic airspace, and they started picking people out from Earth as like assassins for them. So the secret space program argues that their past lives, they were highly trained, highly invested in super soldiers that fought intergalactic threats. They range from zombies to vampires to shape-shifting werewolves to mechs. And basically they get together pretty often, and they even have very successful YouTube careers where they bring in people that also believe the same things. And it just kind of becomes this back and forth of beautiful fanfic. See, the secret space program is basically like the mother of all conspiracies because it brings in every single one of them. Chemtrailing is huge in the secret space program. They believe Kevin Spacey is a clone of Paul Serene. It's so deep, and it has every conspiracy wrapped into it. So I think it's amazing. The more I read about it, the more fascinated I become, and the more convinced I am that I could have been a galactic vampire hunter.
He's like responsible for pretty much what he does is he just plays video games.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he
no, they
adds all this shit he takes from.
So again, they 100% believe this. They even pay top dollar for hypnotherapy sessions for unlocking the rest of their memories with James, which is what Oki did in the last video. He scheduled a hypno regression therapy session with James, who's like one of the main figures in the community. And he basically just tries to put him into a meditative state to start writing fanfic. So Oki was going over how he was Yasuke the Black Samurai, who also had some hybridization with, I think he said like werewolves or something, and this and that, and they just keep building on top of it. It's amazing. It truly has every possible conspiracy you could ever believe in wrapped into it. It's fucking fascinating.
From video games into the lore, and then he says that soft disclosure.
As
we all know, movies, video games, all of that is disclosure.
So they're disclosing the truth, disclosure, right? Insider knowledge through media. So the soft part is because it's through media. So
I keep pausing now. I'm really into the secret space program shit. Someone's spreading some misinformation. Oki was not talking about how he's a reincarnation of Kevin Spacey. Oki was saying he was under direct tutelage of Kevin Spacey, who was a clone of Paul Serene. So it's entirely different. He is not the reincarnation of Kevin Spacey. He was mentored by Kevin Spacey while he was stationed on Mars.
Not explicitly
Some gambling
this secreted information from the secret space program. What they're doing is they're embedding it into media.
Yeah. In fact, like you and I were, when we had our readings, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I was talking to a girl that was claiming to be a Na'vi from Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar.
There was only like 30 people there, basically.
Which is a far cry from what James told us was actually in attendance. He said he sold like something like 250 tickets.
Yeah.
You can see in the footage, there's never more than a dozen people in.
No, there's 250 people there. They're just invisible shapeshifters.
Even in the rooms, they're also speakers at the event. It's just like this. I think there is like element of a grift there. Even though James, I have no doubt that he actually believes this stuff. So there are grifters in this movie. Like Corey Good is one who. So this guy.
And just so we're clear, these are statements of opinion, not fact.
Yeah, of course.
Corey Good has been one of my favorite guests on the show. He's part of the Sphere Bing Alliance from the Secret Space Program. Corey, we were talking about when you were on the lunar space, is that what it's called? Something LOT? Help me out. I don't know the lingo.
Oh, the Lunar Operation Command?
Yes. Is that where you were residing before you went on the ship?
Oh, wow.
No, this was
He's all greased up.
A dark fleet type of base. It's more of kind of like the kind of fascist group.
Wow.
But it was a separate base that was on a different part of the moon, and it had a prison, and they had stasis chambers. Some of these ET beings, they have clones all over the place, and if you kill them, they just have like a backup. Their consciousness pops up in a clone somewhere. So if they capture one of these beings, they will put them in a stasis chamber, and it's kind of like putting a genie in a bottle that they can't escape. They're kind of stuck in stasis. So they have prisons where they have a bunch of these different beings.
Well, you can't put a genie in the bottle. That's the whole thing. Once the genie's out of the bottle, you can't put him back.
And he's a massive grifter. Unlike I don't think James Rankins. Actually, Corey Goodnow, what his whole thing is, he calls himself like. He says that he is like the humanity's only conduit between complete destruction and being able to ascend to I think it's like the 8th dimension or something.
He probably is.
Because he's the one who can communicate with the blue avians.
What happened immediately after the video released?
I knew it was going to get to him.
Yeah.
So I emailed him preemptively. Just said, hey, I'm sorry, I tricked you. You know, I sent him an email. He seems bad, but I don't think that he's actually going to try and take it down, but I emailed
that
him
was very
right
nice.
when I posted it.
How did he feel about it?
Well, I don't want to read it. That's so cute. Oki seems like such a nice guy. Even just giving the dude a heads up, like, yeah, I kind of clowned on you a little bit, but it wasn't like mean-spirited. And in Oki's defense, it really wasn't mean-spirited. He was quite literally just presenting all of the information, but the actual conspiracy is so laughable that it comes across that it's supposed to be a joke. Oki never really did anything to put it in that light, I would argue. He just told his own fanfic, which fit right at home there. Oh, we saw this email last time. This was on his website, I think.
Oh no, he's angry. Yeah, he's pissed.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's real pissed. He had my interview that we did in Vegas on his YouTube channel. Obviously, he immediately took it down. Does that mean that you lied to me about everything that you said? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Mexican
I'm a dick,
Prime
sorry.
Dottie.
And then he's okay. So he took it down. And then I think it was this morning when I woke up, I saw he's like, I'm going to sue you. I do think that he's going to try and strike my video down eventually. Eventually he's going to do it because obviously he's not happy about it. In a way, what I did is a bit mean-spirited. I can own that. It's fine. But essentially it's similar to something that like Sacha Baron Cohen has done his whole career.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is a bit mean-spirited, but it's for the sake of like a comedic video. I'm sure he's experienced this kind of attention, like, it's not the most positive attention, but still, I think he knows how to handle it. I mean, his whole thing is very silly, so he's used to dealing with people being like, this is ridiculous and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it for 13 years on YouTube. So, yeah, he's used to it.
I remember when we got there, I sat down and I was wearing a bandana as a mask because we're in the middle of a pandemic. And do you remember there was this point I sat down and I forgot I had it on. And people were starting to give me weird looks, and you were like, "Jim, you got to take that mask off. They're gonna find us out or something like that." You remember that?
Yeah, we had to blend in.
I take my mask off. One thing about this conference, reason we're not wearing masks right now. We've been wearing masks pretty much everywhere else we go. Yeah. But and because there's so much anti-vaccine and anti-mask sentiment here.
Not in the secret space
stick
program.
Out like a sore thumb if we are wearing our masks. We're here for an event where there's a lot of people that are kind of in the other camp, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I hear you. So
I don't believe that.
We've been wearing these, and then
you're telling me the dude who said that the Travis Scott tragedy was influenced by drone mosquitoes doesn't like masks?
Yeah, we had to blend in, and so a lot of these people were very on board with a lot of the COVID-19 conspiracies and stuff like that, and the masks and vaccines in general and stuff like that.
What can you tell us about
uses a technology that rewrites the DNA code. The mutations are yet to be seen. This is more a technological mutation. These are human cyborg. They're humanoids turning into cyborgs.
And so I stood.
She was found dead later that day.
I remember by the end of the weekend,
she told too much of the truth.
I just put it back on, and I remember, I think it was during the spoon bending thing. We were talking to that girl that was right in front of us, and I was like, actually, I wear my mask, but it's not for the reasons that you would expect. She's, why do you wear a mask then? I was like, I don't want the surveillance state tracking me. And she's, oh yeah, that's actually really good. It felt like I almost convinced somebody to start wearing a mask.
Some of these projects, they have time compression zones where you're outside of time and the time is going by a little bit slower than the rest of reality.
How does he find time for his day job and also regular missions? Because when you asked him when the video was going to come out on his channel, what did he tell you?
He said, sorry, I've been sick and I'm also on missions. I've been on missions. This is really funny.
Yeah, and so I don't know how he has time for his day job.
fucking adorable,
and also
though.
fighting the space Germans, but obviously he's making it work.
Exit Prime Vex.
And if the time compression is a thing, and he spent 50 to 100 years away in between the time that we met him and when he emailed you, I'm surprised he even remembered you at all. You must have made a really big impression if he remembers you for 100 years.
There you go.
You're just a memorable guy, Oki.
Yeah, I suppose so.
One of the most stark things to me when I was with you in Vegas and we were shooting this, you remember I would routinely just get up and walk away. I would just go walk the streets. I would, like, every couple hours I would just get up and go away.
You go to a secret space program and don't sit through every single lecture?
Yeah, I did. I wouldn't go booze because, dude, I was hammered, man. I was hammered both days we were doing this, man, because that was how I got through a lot of it, especially toward the end of each day.
Yeah, man. Tonight's gonna be great.
Exit Tier 1 pepperoni.
I'm so drunk.
So much manpower and
We're gonna break this bed. This bed is like cheap as fuck.
we ended up
Bro, this is Vegas. You think they build beds like as if people aren't gonna break them? Did he Photoshop himself with muscles?
Yeah.
Did he give himself muscles in Photoshop, Oki?
Yeah.
Dude, he is fucking
The first
blasted.
day, I remember we were in the
secret space program got to him.
and then you left.
They roofied him.
And then like I see you in the fucking lobby like 30 minutes later, and you're like you finished like you polished off a bottle or something like that, and you're like you were fucked up.
Hey, where are you hiding now?
Lenny!
Lenny! Lenny! You bastard!
Lenny! Oki! Oh, you're not Oki. Hey. Lenny!
And then we're taking an Uber back to the motel, and you're just screaming.
Remember what I said?
I don't know. You were just going off, dude.
What a fun trip this must have been.
About how we were in the middle of infiltrating the secret space program. I remember our Uber driver just laughing his head off, just like listening to these crazy things we were telling him about, and I probably was really animated.
That's drunk goggles, dude. He was like super quiet. He was like, and then after the ride, I tipped him like fucking $5. It's like shit, dude.
I'm sorry you had to put up with my drunk friend.
It is Vegas, so
I do get a little extra when I've been on the sauce for sure. I totally forgot about that Uber drive home. But I do remember screaming at our Uber driver.
Oki is
these
so
guys,
sweet.
They fought the space Germans on Mars, and they had slaves, but they were also slaves. And I don't understand it, but this shit is really crazy, man.
That's pretty much what we're saying. Yeah. The first talk that we went to, the guy who I have in my video,
Is he
the
too
one who started
Stu?
to cry, like fake cry.
Yeah, I definitely want to
Yeah,
talk
kind
about
of
him.
Great Wall.
Yeah, so that first talk was like, it felt like it was only an hour, but it felt like 3, and it was him telling this incomprehensible story about like I don't even remember.
Well, strong. Let me bring it up. I've got the notes.
Yeah, you got the notes. So why don't you?
Damn, that
read
chair's
them out?
got fucked up.
2 pages of notes here.
Also, this is my old chair that he's using. That's crazy. Literally almost every YouTuber had this chair at one point. It was just like a generic IKEA chair. And it has seen some better days. God damn. Looks like I got hit by a truck.
Yeah, you got the notes. So why don't you just read them out right now?
I've got 2 pages of notes here, and then I just gave up. So I have markers here. So 10 minutes in, guy that went to space was kidnapped by aliens, met a being that told him to, quote, put your clothes in this bucket. And this was when he was 14 years old. I'm assuming he means like his original body. That's what made this so confusing, is because every other minute he's in some other body as some other person in some other reality. So it's mixing up realities and genders and ages and all walks of life that he was being these people, and I just couldn't understand it.
That's
Then
a
he
secret
was
space
kidnapped
program,
and
baby.
He was brought to the base on the Dwarf
Think you said
Planet
Q-ship?
series, and when he got there was some kind of base, and he saw a bunch of bodies in stasis that he claims were most likely
Thanks for 5
clones,
gifts of
and
Sparrow.
he was sent
Appreciate
there
it, man.
because he was on a mission to see what technology they
Thanks,
had.
Doc.
And I still can't, I don't remember if he's in another body at this point or if he's still his 14-year-old self. And he wasn't allowed to have contact with the children that he produced with. I don't know who he produced them with. Oh, I remember now. He as a slave was also assigned a slave. And one of the parts where he started crying was he was feeling so much guilt and shame over the fact that he had to have a slave.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Damn, there's a lot of lore.
And his memories were extracted by the Greys, the Grey aliens. Somewhere along the way as
On
well
Earth?
afterwards,
The Greys
I guess,
were here?
he was tortured by Germans. He was electrocuted. At some point, a blue alien comes into the picture. He had to work...
Alright, hold on. I gotta go say goodnight to Tiana here before I keep going down this fucking Marvel pilot series script. I'll be back in just 1 sec.
Or else they would torture these kids that, quote, weren't quite feral, but disassociated. I don't know what that means. At 14 minutes, 45 seconds, I write,
Hey, NightDocs.
I have zero idea what's happening in this story.
The chair's
anymore.
great.
Is
It's
this
got
on
character.
Earth? Is this on Ceres? Is this a
Hey,
spaceship?
Prime Cowboy.
Wait a minute. He's not even in his own body now? 16 minutes in. He didn't understand what his mission was. Who sent him on this mission? What is the mission? 18 minutes. Okay, now there's a naked dude wearing a cloak and a goat's head that
Thanks for
wanted him
subscribing.
to drink the kids' blood and eat their flesh.
Well, it sounds like standard secret space program.
They basically toss him the keys to the Chevy. They're like, here's somebody else's body. It's a 14-year-old girl or something. It's a little girl. He says, don't break this body or something along those lines. Don't cause any damage to this body, but we need you to do
Nice.
something
Well,
in this little girl's
that was
body.
sweet of him. Another
so
chance.
He inhabits the body of a girl to do this next phase. Okay, now he's getting thrown out of a helicopter when he's discovered to not be the little girl that he's inhabiting. And I ask, how did he get discovered? And everyone dies in the helicopter crash. And then now he's strapped to a chair, told to follow some guy. I don't know if they let him up from the chair or whatever, but he's strapped to a chair. He's told that he failed, and then he gets tortured again. And so at this point, I'm asking, like, wait, so he was in the body of this little girl, he broke the body, and now he's strapped to a chair being tortured. Which body is he in now? Because he was out of bodies.
Damn, this is going so fucking deep.
You know what it was?
True.
What it felt like?
He didn't have
You
any more
remember when you
vessels.
were in, like, school, and everybody has to read
Thanks
at
for
one
some
point,
captain
right?
and
So
damage.
the kid who can't read,
yeah,
has to stand off.
He
and
just
sit,
recites
like,
words.
fucking, and you can barely understand what he's saying because he's not reading properly out loud. And
He spoke for at least an hour, but at 32 minutes
There's a
in,
prime
that's the
PP.
last note that I wrote, because at that point I just gave up. I was like, I can't, like, I just physically can't even comprehend what he's saying anymore. It not
I guess
only
after 30
doesn't make
minutes it
sense
would
from a
get
factual
tiresome.
perspective, there was no narrative structure to what he was saying. It just was one thing after another.
Well, yeah,
It
they're
was just- It
memories.
was almost like free association.
Not a narrative.
a lot of the
it's-
people on
they're
James' channel
remembering
don't
things.
have any storytelling abilities whatsoever.
We met up with a few people at the table. That's where we met the Navi
Oh,
alien.
gotcha, potato.
And we also
Thanks for
met
the
this
suck
lady who
and
was
every
doing,
sub
I
Haruki.
guess she's a super soldier too, because I saw her sitting on the panel with all the old super soldiers and stuff. So she's also a psychic too, which is convenient. And so she, I paid her, I think $20. Might have been a little bit more, but I bought a crystal so that I could know yes and no answers. And I sat down and she told me
Looks like it was a
what
dark-
my
that's what I
alien
was thinking.
heritage is.
Yeah.
And I remember there's this point where she's asking me what I see, and I'm just making up stuff and trying to act as enthralled and as wrapped up in it as I can. And here's the thing, I grew up in a religious environment, and so I know the tempo and beats that you're talking at when you're talking about a really spiritual experience. And so I really channeled
Life-changing.
the old church-going Jim into this, but talking about aliens. Like, I grabbed the crystal, I was like, do you ever feel warm when you hold your crystal? And this lady she was like, oh my gosh, yes, so much.
Aw.
Have I been on a craft that travels faster than light? Was Ogie my friend?
Over here, Okie. Yeah, who's my friend? Okie, who with me on that trip. And I was like, I'm having a real experience.
No
Hold on, I need
way!
a second to catch my breath because this is like almost anxiety inducing. Like I've never experienced anything like this before. No, I'm just trying to calm down a little bit. I'm a little I'm kind of in the middle of like an experience here. So like it's, and she was crying. She was crying. She was so emotionally overcome by what I was apparently going through. Do you remember her saying that?
She came to us and she embraced both of us.
Oh yeah, she could not stop hugging us.
She was really taken.
And that's the part that I do feel bad because this is something that really genuinely seems to have a lot of deep personal meaning.
Yeah,
for her,
that is pretty sad.
She is tapped into the secret space program full of genetically enhanced time traveling, reality jumping super soldiers. And she would get tears in her eyes talking about my genetic heritage to the Arcturian alien race.
The Arcturians were known for their generosity, though.
I'm sitting there while she's going over this
Hey,
thing that
fuck
looks
yeah,
like a
thanks for the
Ouija
raid.
board.
Hope you had a great
that's got the
stream.
names of all these different alien races.
Thank you, man.
And I
Appreciate it.
she stops. She
Thank
says,
you for the
feel
cock raid.
something like, do you identify with anything? I'm like, I almost feel like in the back of my mind, I see this endless sea.
Is this harming anyone, or is it just fun for them and fun for us to watch? So, as I said, I think the secret space program conspiracy is another, like, harmless one, right? It's just people that believe that they're fighting vampires and zombies and gray aliens out in space, and they're super soldiers who can shapeshift. Like, it's just, I think it's just harmless. Now, I think, as mentioned in this video, there are people that try and exploit that, such as the dude who like sells books and sessions to unlock those hidden memories of fighting like in space for the new Schwabenlanders. So there's elements to it that do get kind of like sad and negative, but overall I think it's kind of harmless. They're just believing in some really enjoyably goofy fanfic, right? They're not really hurting anyone. They have these conventions where they pretend that they're bending spoons or that they're talking to Albert Wesker from Resident Evil.
Of blue aliens.
Yeah, but they dedicated their life to this. People dedicate their lives to dumb shit all the time. I don't think they're really dedicating their lives to it so much as they engage in the community often. Like, I highly doubt people that aren't profiting from it are sitting there constantly trying to enter a meditative state to remember when they were kidnapped by the space Germans 300 years ago. Man, I love talking about the secret space program. This is such a fucking cool conspiracy. Just even being able to say that and know that there's people that genuinely believe it is fucking crazy. Thanks to the Prime Long and Bone.
It's like the ones that you showed me in the picture, and she opened it up, she's like, okay, the Arcturians. I was like, yeah, that's them, the ones that I really felt a strong connection to. They're calling me Ancient One. They're chanting something, it's hard to hear, but I get the feeling that they know who I am and that they're awaiting my arrival. So basically,
yeah, they are.
I am evidently Space Jesus. I am the messiah of the blue Arcturian alien race species.
Well, no, Corey Good is Space Jesus.
They are patiently awaiting
in
my
the
return
established lore.
after I've gained enough experience here on Earth to return to my home planet and lead my people to salvation. It was pretty overwhelming. She was telling me that she was having her own, she was in the middle of having her own memory reclamations while listening to me reclaim my memories because it was having that much of an effect on her spiritually about all this.
Most of them seem very normal, very nice.
Oh, hold on. There's the guy that yelled at us. He seems to be in charge.
Yeah, he was in charge, like, but because he didn't want us filming. But he only realized that, like, literally on the last day that we're there.
That's right.
Before we were about to leave.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, you can't film." And then even we continued to film, but he didn't.
Why though? The whole point is whistleblowing.
By the way, he yelled at me the day before, and he's on all the advertisements for this thing. And he seems like this really nice guy, but when you talk to him, he's just an asshole, like with no reason. Yeah, how to become a Jedi Warrior workshop.
Unfortunately, when we showed up,
yeah, this was a really
How to
sad
Become a Jedi
moment.
Warrior workshop.
Unfortunate.
No one was there, not even the speaker, so it was canceled.
We just got in here. We have no idea who.
Thanks for gifts of C9. Thanks again, man.
You're right. I think the guy just gave up.
I was so excited about it because I'm a Star Wars geek, and so we were excited to do that, and there was nobody there. And so we went into the main conference hall, and he was there. He's fiddling around with the water cooler. And I
Yeah,
was
we
like,
watched
"Hey,"
the
he goes,
Crypto
"Come on,
Land stuff earlier.
we were really hoping to go to this Jedi workshop, and is that going to happen still? There's nobody in there." And he just starts getting really irritated with me, like, "Why are you talking to me? I'm not in charge of that event, blah, blah, blah. If they're not going to be there, they're not going to be there, blah, blah, blah." Like, he just started, like, unprompted. Like, I was not expecting it at all. This wasn't me, like, going full Karen, let me talk to your manager or give me my money back or anything like that. It was just like,
yeah.
Well, you should have demanded a refund. Don't you pay for the course?
I didn't hear it, but I did see you, and you looked shocked.
yeah, he just, did all of the conference attendees, "Shut up, we can't hear anything, we're trying to get this to work."
And it was like, and people just started laughing.
There's
they
a
just
video where you film our reaction, where we both just look at each other and we're just like smiling, like, what
That's
is
so
going on here?
cute.
That's the reaction. Yeah, that's the reaction during that part, because we were like, why is he yelling at everyone? What is happening?
They're having some technical difficulties right now. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Man, that was such a wild week, man. There was this guy who was giving this whole speech about how he at one point tried to inhabit a bird, and then the further it flew away, he lost the Wi-Fi signal to the bird, and so he became a rat, and he was able to stay as a rat or something like that for a little while. And
that was during the
What a
Super
dumb
Soldier
plan.
panel.
Why a bird?
Yeah, I was just like he said that, and nobody was laughing. And dude, when you were asking me to get closer shots of the Super Soldier panel and all that, and so I walked up and I got closer shots of the Super Soldier panel, and the stuff that they're talking about, I can hear the dozen or so people in the audience, and they're gasping for air, so shocked, like, this is real. Wow, that's amazing. Like,
So they can survey the
none of the
masses?
kind of scoffing
True, I
or
guess.
chuckling that I
guess the
desperately
bird could
wanted to do
work.
a couple of times. It's all just wonder and amazement. I just gotta say, man, genuinely, thank you for letting me be a part of that. That
sounds like it would have been
was
amazing.
a genuine honor to like get invited to that, because dude, I really needed a vacation.
And then when you jumped on a Discord call, I told you all about it, and you're like, and then you booked a ticket like while we were on that call. So
I got us a hotel actually close to the event.
That seems like it would have been so fucking fun. That's something I've wanted to do. Go to like goofy conventions just to hang out. But that's kind of what Channel 5 already does, and I don't want to like step on his toes or anything. I just think that shit is so enjoyable. Like, fuck, what was that convention? Well, no, it wasn't a convention. Back in like 2016, I was trying to remember what car brand it was. I went to a Volkswagen enthusiast meetup that was happening like an hour or so away, and it was an amazing experience. It was just a bunch of fucking like older people that loved Volkswagens. Like, they fucking loved VWs, I'll tell you what. And it was just, I clearly didn't know anything about cars, but they just always like welcomed us over. It was me and a friend, and they're like, "Hey, come over here, check out my Volkswagen." I'm like, "I can't wait to see this one. It looks the same as that one." And he's like, "Oh man, what's under the hood?" So I was just trying to talk to these people, and they were so nice and inviting. And they probably knew that I didn't know Volkswagens, but god damn it, it was fun. And then they had a country rap artist that they booked for the event. And for the last 5 or 6 years, however long it's been now, I've desperately been trying to remember his name, because he had some bangers. The dude was a rap country fusion artist, but he didn't bother really learning how to like rap or anything. So it'd just be country music, and he'd kind of try and rap to it in a country way. And I remember one of them was all about like beer, and I just really wish I could remember it because the chorus was catchy. The chorus was an actual banger. He was a local guy. He's not like an actual big name artist or anything. He was promoting his Facebook page back then, and I looked him up on YouTube. It had less than 100 views. It's not anyone that you guys would have heard of. Man, I fucking wish I had filmed it. Lil Nas, imagine. The dude was very, very much like middle-aged, somewhere probably like mid-40s actually. He was pretty large. He was a tall guy, pretty overweight. He had a 10-gallon hat on with these fat fucking boots, and he was two-stepping in those bad boys to his music. Go back and ask the owner. Ask the owner of what? The Denny's parking lot they did it in? Like, they're not gonna remember that from 6 years ago? I've tried since then to find that Volkswagen Facebook group that I initially found to go there. It doesn't exist anymore. It was like Volkswagen fans of of like Sarasota or something, and I cannot find him. I've tried so many times. But yeah, it was just in a Denny's park. I think it was Denny's. It was some diner. It was in just a diner parking lot. They got a whole bunch of the boys back in town to bring over the Volkswagens. Iceberg. Why do people keep asking for that? Oh, I actually remember this story. I haven't seen his video on it, but I remember this was on Reddit. There was a random TikTok that was taken, well, at least this story, I guess the whole thing might not be connected. A random TikTok taken of a girl with like a black eye and shit. And then Redditors actually were the ones that maybe potentially connected her to a missing persons case. I don't remember the result. I don't know if it actually turned out to be true or not, but yeah, I guess we'll check it out, sure.
Now for this TikTok iceberg, we're gonna talk about real world events. In case you guys don't know how an iceberg works, which you should by now, honestly, it's a list that starts at the tip and ends up going all the way down to the dark abyss. As we go down, we begin covering topics that not the general audience knows about, but
evil and
we're actually
Gilly.
switching it up for this video. We're not doing it from most known to least known. We're doing it from most tame to most gruesome. This video gets really, really, really dark, and it sounds so ironic because it's TikTok, but you guys would
No, TikTok's a fucked platform.
Also, I made
Shit's
this
nutty.
list. Here is the list. If anyone else wants to make a video on it, just make sure to credit me, and you can add on, remove, I don't care, but I made this list because this didn't really exist before. I hope you guys watched the whole thing. By the way, make sure to follow me on Instagram and subscribe to the channel if you are not already. Actually, don't subscribe yet. I'll earn your subscription by the end of this video.
Hey.
Okay, without further ado, let's head on to the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg. Botting accounts. Like most social media, TikTok has a botting
underwhelming.
problem. Users that want followers can easily look
Everyone
up
knows
how to buy
TikTok's
TikTok
botted to
followers
fuck.
on Google and be met instantly with millions of results. Most being shady websites.
I saw
with,
some
let's just
I saw
say,
some wild
non-ideal
stories on that
prices.
iceberg though.
Not only can you buy followers, but you can buy views, likes, and even comments.
Hey, fun
Jail
fact.
talk.
That's how Travis Scott started. Travis Scott bought all of his followers on SoundCloud when he started. His manager came out and said that Travis Scott, paid him to set up a bot farm for his SoundCloud engagements, and then he was able to pitch that manufactured success to a record label. So yeah, that shit really works.
Fetishization of murderers. TikTok
True
is a
crime.
place for anyone with any interest.
That was big
It's
on
no doubt
Tumblr.
Some people are interested in murderers. I mean, my whole channel is dedicated to morbid topics. But some people, mainly young teens, push the boundary a little when they begin romanticizing these murderers. Take Cameron Herron, for example.
Oh,
in
Jesus,
April of this
yeah.
year, this
Fuck.
21-year-old man was sentenced to a total of 24 years in
Actually
prison
forgot
for
about that.
killing a 24-year-old mom and her baby during an illegal street race. Yet people on TikTok were begging for his freedom because he is quote-unquote cute. With dedicated fan edits, comments like, chances should be given and he deserves it, and he is innocent, please let him go, or justice for him.
They still exist. I see them on Twitter all the time.
These comments have no real
All the
sense of
time.
murder and have no idea how this affects the family.
Jesus
Fetishization of
Christ.
school shooters. Just like young teens simp for murderers, they also simp for school shooters. Most notably, Devin Erickson, which we actually
What?
talked about on this channel back in March.
Who the fuck is
That's
that?
exactly what you'd expect. Fan edits, comments saying he's hot, and I wouldn't doubt some asking for his freedom. Speaking of romanticizing school shooters, I remember FTP made a couple
Wait,
shirts referencing
who the fuck was that? I've never heard of that guy. He was a school shooter? Dude straight up had like cotton candy hair. I guess that's good that I have no idea that dude's name. But yeah, no, I had no clue. I've never seen that guy before in my fucking life.
I don't know who started this trend of thinking school shooters are people you should idolize, because they're not. They're shit humans that took away lives of innocent people. Buying rare usernames. Rare usernames are exactly that. Usernames that are 3 to 4 letters each, or usernames that are a single word or name. Twitter and Instagram also have these communities which sell and buy rare usernames. These purchases
Then you
take
get
place
squatters.
outside of the app on forums, the surface. Faking disabilities. There was an instance
Ooh, this
last
was
week
big.
when this girl
Still
on TikTok
big.
did some detective work and found out that the account at Adopted and Disabled Child was actually a guy pretending to be disabled. For what? I'm assuming for clout and then collecting donations afterwards. All credit to her because she actually found out that the quote-unquote disabled man in the video is a soccer player for a Norwegian football team. I don't know what goes on through your head to say, you know what? I should fake a disability
Holy
today
shit.
and post it on TikTok. Eventually, your friends and family will find out, and if not, then a random girl on TikTok will. Lopez brothers. Okay, I honestly don't want to waste my breath on these fucking idiots, so I'm gonna
I
make
don't
this
know
one
them.
really quick. Yes, they are both guilty of soliciting minors. Yes, there is proof.
She's 14. And you are how old?
Who the fuck are they? I've never heard of them.
23.
Yeah. You know what can happen to you?
I do.
You can end up in jail.
I do realize that.
Man, that video didn't really pop off. Let me take a peek. I bet they're doing just fine on TikTok. Honestly, it might even be good marketing on TikTok, so that way the little girls think they have a chance with them, I guess. Which they very well might. Tony Lopez. That's not Tony Lopez, that's an old man. Tony Lopez has 23 million followers, and he's doing real well. Posted a day ago. Let's go! He rated his attractiveness. Look at this. Nice. Yeah, no, that really, man. Him being outed as a pedophile apparently really, fuck, it really ruined him. Who was the other one? Andre Lopez? He probably took the brunt of it. 21 million followers. He's doing even better than his brother. Hey, look, he's doing a dance. Nice. See, that's the beauty of TikTok. No matter what you do, you can't be canceled on there. And you know why? Because kids don't care. Kids do not give a shit. These two could have literally executed a child on TikTok livestream, put a gun to his head, blew their fucking brains out, and then did a dance on their corpse. Kids would have forgiven them. Literal next day.
And yes, for some reason, little girls still love them.
Oh, even mentions it, yeah.
Jarob. Jarob was a TikToker with 4 million followers. His
Is
content
there
consisted of
plasma
being
and
politically
chassis?
correct and... yeah, that was it. His TikToks would get millions of views, and I'm sure you've seen them on your For You page at some point. Well, last month, multiple minors came out explaining that Jarob had groomed
I guess
them.
Tori.
One of them, the one that got the most views, was a boy by the name of DYLG16. This person goes on to explain that Jarob is a disgusting hypocrite and abuses his clout to groom and prey upon underage boys. Joe would send him and his minor friends online BDSM tests and would ask to see their scores so
Jesus
he could see what
Christ.
their kinks were. He then personally invited the 16-year-old minor to stay with him at a one-bedroom Airbnb. He even offered to buy him alcohol, and if that wasn't damning enough, Jarob ended up deleting his account shortly after these allegations came out. Bro, if there's one thing I don't like, it's fucking groomers, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Cartel TikTok.
To be fair, that dude probably wouldn't have recovered. I think you're probably right. The people that are fine and uncancelable on TikTok are like the dudes that are decent looking. This guy stood no chance. This guy was fucked the second he got outed as a child groomer. But yeah, the other ones are doing just fine for literally being outed by multiple people for preying on minors.
Cartel TikTok. Cartel TikTok is a series of TikToks that display the lavish lifestyle of the cartel, or, well, the bright side of it, if that's what you want to call it. All of the
He's a prime
expensive
Chris in the
cars,
Reset
houses,
Blade.
jewelry, and money. Teenagers from the US were really intrigued by the lifestyle and asked if they could join the cartel. Some cartel members would respond and say yeah, and they would force these teenagers to smuggle drugs for them, I'm assuming into Mexico. As of now, TikTok has taken down any hashtags related to the cartel.
Damn. What a good way of
Zombie
recruiting.
Woman. Zombie Woman is the nickname given to a woman in distress recorded from a neighbor earlier this year in May in Seattle, Washington. Now, I've tried researching what actually is the story behind this video, but there isn't really a solid story. So, I'm just going to read you guys some popular theories. The first theory is that this woman is a victim of domestic abuse due to dyeing her hair pink and her boyfriend not liking it. Also forgot to mention that in that same theory, the boyfriend allegedly ripped her hair out due to not liking the pink. That's the most I could find for that one. The second theory
That's
is
probably
that this
not
woman
it.
is just on some type of heavy drug like bath salts. The third theory
That's
is that this
more
woman
likely.
is a victim of human trafficking and she had escaped her abuse.
That is possible.
Someone said that she was holding a pseudo baby to cope with her real baby being killed. Again, these are just theories.
Man, that actually does look like a fucking scene from Martyrs, if any of you guys are unfortunate enough to have watched that movie. That movie's disturbing. This actually does look like a scene from that. So this was real? This wasn't like some theater promotion thing or something? Like some kids doing high school theater? The cops are actually here, so I'm guessing this was a real person. Damn, that is fucking sad. Martyrs isn't that bad? Bro, that movie hits hard. That movie, not just the gore shit they show. That movie, even its message is disturbing. The whole movie is about torturing women so they can get as close to death as possible, so hopefully they'd have an out-of-body experience and see what's on the other side. And to accomplish that, they torture the women, by literally, peeling all of their skin off, degloving their whole body. That movie's nutty. That movie is really nutty.
Holocaust Challenge. Yo, I can't
I
even
remember
believe some
this
of the
one.
stuff I'm saying right
I remember
now.
that one.
This is real stuff that happened on TikTok. In August of 2020, a new trend began emerging in US TikTok. In this trend, teenagers would pretend to be Jews that had died during the Holocaust.
Yeah, that one was pretty fucking crazy.
Diane Saltzman, the director.
One thing I always found pretty interesting about this is what is the thought process here? So they died at Auschwitz and they went to heaven, and yet they're still covered in dirt and hurt and stuff even while in heaven. That's gotta suck. You go to heaven in the same state you left the world. If you get hit by a fucking train or something, you just go to heaven in pieces. That'd be terrible. What a horrible, like, entrance.
Diane Saltzman, the director of Survivor Affairs at the U.S. Holocaust Museum, told Insider, imitating Holocaust experiences dishonors the memory of victims, is offensive to survivors, and
Tier 1
trivializes
macaroni
the
and
history.
cheese.
I don't know how fucking stupid you have to be to do this shit, bro. That's just weird and disrespectful. Fucking weirdo. I like that I could shit on these people and, like, there's no backlash because they all do stupid shit. Ronnie McNutt video.
This one, I remember this one too.
TikToks would be posted onto the app.
Fuck, this one was heavy.
Until the TikTok would then cut to a clip of a man shooting himself in the head with a rifle. Well, he actually shoots himself in the face, not like we're like right here. I'm sure you guys have probably seen the video. These TikToks were disguised as your average dancing videos,
that was a
memes,
fucked up
K-pop
trend.
fan cams, and everything else, but were meant to traumatize kids on the app. In case you're wondering exactly who started making these videos, there is no lead, but I'm sure we can all assume it was some edgy teen who just wanted to make some kids' days that much worse. The man in the video is Ronnie McNutt, age 33. A friend of his named John Steen, who was a live viewer of the stream, confirmed that the rumor of Ronnie doing this, quote, because his girlfriend broke up with him, is entirely false. He explains that Ronnie did this due to suffering from PTSD and depression.
Oh, yeah, that one was super
TikTok
sad.
beheading video. In the summer of
That
this
one was
year,
really
a
fucking
video
sad.
began
Thanks for your
circulating
Pablo.
on TikTok that showed a little girl dancing and then cut to a video of someone getting beheaded. We're assuming it's the Mexican cartel because they are speaking Spanish in the video. Everyone assumed this person in the video to be her. Well, spoiler alert, it's not. They're two different people. It's just a random girl and it cuts to a Mexican cartel video. Like the Ronnie McNutt video, this spread like wildfire. I'm sure people would just post the video itself or like cut the clip into a normal TikTok and trick people into thinking they're watching a normal TikTok, and then it cuts to that clip. Anyway, like I was saying, the girl dancing and the person in the other video are not the same person. That person is a man by the name of Rodolfo Bellucci, which coincidentally has the same body type as the girl. If you're wondering how a tween girl and a grown man were mistaken to be the same person, well, almost all gore videos seem like they're filmed on a fucking Chromebook, so the best you'll get is 360p. Abyss, Cassie Compton. In January of 2021,
this one I remember
a
from
video
Reddit.
posted on TikTok went viral due to showing a woman sitting in the backseat of a car with a black man sitting next to her. She had two black eyes and was slumped over staring at the camera, almost silently pleading for help. People compared this woman to Cassie Compton, a 15-year-old who disappeared from her home in Stuttgart, Arkansas on September 14th of 2014. Though, these were later found out to be two completely different people, and
Oh,
the
it wasn't
woman in the
right?
video was confirmed by family to be Haley Grace Phillips. She had been reported missing by a family member
Oh,
who saw the
well,
video.
it was
but
right, though.
on her own account had just left home due to a falling out with her father. So,
Oh.
you know, she didn't think she was missing. She just like left home. She went on to host a few Instagram live streams where in the first one she says, "I don't know who this Cassie bitch is," which already gave her a negative look. And when asked about the black eyes, she explains that she had been jumped and robbed by two women when leaving the store, and the men in the car were friends of hers helping her track down the attackers. Many were still skeptical to if she was telling the truth or if her abusers were telling her.
So Reddit was almost right,
Though we
kind
have
of.
no idea what the actual truth is because she disabled her account and never gave the public any more details. Austin 13. Austin Morosky was a TikToker with many followers who was accused of raping his 5-year-old sister. Yup, you heard that right.
Jesus
So basically, there
Christ.
is no hard evidence that I could find to this case. It's all just word of mouth from people that went to high school with him. So the story goes that he allegedly raped his little sister of 5 years old when he was 9, and then was sent off to a juvenile detention center during high school. Yes, during high school. Anyway, people on TikTok started rushing to spread awareness about this guy. He eventually ended up releasing an apology.
Hey everybody, my name's Austin Morowski, and the reason I'm making this TikTok is to educate my followers, friends, and family. Regardless of the lack of knowledge, this
He's reading it like a
concerning my
report.
life and my
Book report.
family, I as a TikToker and a man will continue to make my fans happy and entertained. I just want my true supporters to know that if you happen to get in the same scenario like myself, don't beat yourself up. Let this be a lesson to my followers and whoever's watching that words will and can affect someone's life along with the cyberbullying.
Which, by the way, is one of the worst apology videos I've seen.
What?
It's right up there with James Charles and David Dobrik. You'd expect them to be like, "No, I did not rape my sister," or "Yes, guys, I did."
Holy
but
shit.
He just dodges the question. He acknowledges nothing. He tells his supporters that words can affect you and to keep your head up during hard times. He victimizes himself. I'm assuming this is why people think he's 100% guilty. Though we'll never really know because those juvenile records aren't available to the public since they're minors.
What the
Lady
fuck?
Cat Killer.
Wait, what the fuck? That was actually like his response? I imagine he's doing just fine on TikTok. He probably didn't even need to do that for his TikTok followers. They don't give a fuck. What was his name? Austin 13. He does not have a TikTok anymore. That's a first. Unless he changed his handle. Oh, 316. Oh. Okay, hold on. No, still not. And it was Austin 13. Man, fuck you guys making me think I was wrong.
In 2020, there was a person that would go on Omegle with the tag furry
Stone Cold.
Oh,
you son of a bitch.
Skinned and burned cats,
I see.
skulls, and other things of that nature. Even though this happened on Omegle, the quote-unquote lady would post on TikTok, which is why it's on this iceberg. If you were on TikTok at the time, you might remember the amount of people that were talking about this. Shout out to the Netflix documentary, Don't Fuck With Cats. I love that. I love that film. That was cool. It was never proven or not as to if she was the person on TikTok, considering many accounts were made due to getting banned. But whoever was on the account seemed to be trying to pull off the "you'll never catch me" scheme, which no, it was 2020, your ass is gonna get caught. And actually, law enforcement did get involved, and it is most likely that this person was tracked down and charged. Though we'll never have any confirmation because we don't know the cat killer's name, which means we can't look it up on public records.
I vaguely remember that. I didn't see the documentary,
One of the
though.
most recent situations from this entire iceberg is the case of Bethany Martin and her minor friend. On July 28th in San Antonio, Texas, this girl and her friend saw someone hanging from the railing of a drainage ditch. The 25-year-old man had just committed suicide, and instead of calling the police, well, one of the teens filmed the other one stealing his necklace. Yes, removing it from his lifeless body. To make matters even worse, they filmed it and posted it on
Full-blown
Snapchat.
Logan
I have
Paul.
no idea how stupid you have to be to film yourself committing a crime. I mean, because if you think about it, they could have gotten away with it. And I'm not condoning them getting away with it. But seriously, how stupid, like, just don't film
Holy
it. Again,
shit.
I'm not condoning what they did. Good that they got caught. I'm glad they were idiots and filmed it. But, like, bro, y'all are stupid. When asked by the police why she stole the necklace, she says that it matched her fashion style. Honestly, I didn't expect any better
That's a
reasoning
good
from
point,
this girl.
actually.
The police returned the jewelry to the family. Bethany was arrested and charged with theft of a corpse. Her bond was set to $2,000, and she has since been released from jail. The minor was also charged with the same thing.
Thanks to Prime Reginald. How are they doing on TikTok? What was her name? What was it? Bethany what? Yeah, I'm sure if I type in how many people are actually fucking named Bethany in 2022, I'm sure it'll come up. Let's see. Is it Bethany Martin? Bethany what? Bethany 3160. I'm not falling for it twice. Okay, I guess it's this one then. No, it looks like she has also been banned. Man, maybe TikTok actually does sometimes take action. Then why not for the other, like, predators? Yeah, it looks like she is also off. Her name was Bethany Martin. Unless she's just not popping up when I search her.
Abyss. Zachary Lathan.
Her account still exists,
Often
it's at
dubbed
50K.
The TikToker who killed his neighbor for clout.
Thanks for some
Zachary
Dell
Lathan
stars.
did just that, though whether he did it for clout or not is unknown. Here's a rundown of the story. Zachary had been having problems with his neighbors due to driving recklessly in the neighborhood. At one point, he films a woman that's part of the family and calls her a Karen repeatedly. He then allegedly swerved his car into their son's bike while he's biking. Eventually, the family's son and father confront Zach by going to his house, and meanwhile, Zach's wife is recording everything. Yeah, the dude had a wife at the age of 18. Anyway, Zach ends up going ape mode and stabs William in the armpit, puncturing his lung, killing him. People say this was an attempt to gain TikTok clout since the wife was recording, but I personally think it's just a man with mental and anger issues not knowing limits. Also,
Jesus.
the argument that he did it for clout is odd considering the dude he killed came up on his property first. You would think that he would go to the neighbor's house, kill him over there. But no, the people came up to his side, and I'm not defending, again, that kid's a fucking idiot. But yeah, rest in peace to that man. Rest in peace. Joseph Jimenez.
I'm assuming
Another
that
recent
TikTok
event on
guy's
this
in
list
jail
is
now.
this Joseph Jimenez movie theater shooting. This happened last month in California. Anthony Barajas, a 19-year-old TikToker with about 1 million followers, and his friend Riley Goodrich went out to watch The Forever Purge, where they were shot and killed by a 20-year-old man by the name of Joseph Dumbass Jimenez. A reporter actually conducted an interview with this person, so I'll give you guys some takeaways from that. The movie theater was mostly empty. There were only a total of 6 people, 3 of those being Riley, Jimenez, and Anthony. The other 3 were Jimenez's friends. Halfway during the movie, Jimenez went to go get something from his car, and he told his friends that he came back with a gun. In the article, it says that his friends left to the parking lot. I guess they were just like weird. They were fucking scared. They went to the parking lot. Then they see Jimenez running to his car, getting in, and speeding off. The bodies of the 2 teens weren't found up until the cleaning crew came up, which is odd. Like, no one heard a gunshot, like 2 gunshots in the movie theater. Anyway,
I mean, it could have just
both of
sounded like
teens
the
were killed
movie.
execution style. So Jimenez went behind their seats, aimed his gun at the back of Anthony's head, and shot and killed him. When he killed
Holy
Anthony,
shit.
Riley reacted horrified, and then he shot her in the head as well. Riley died at the scene, and Anthony was on life support for a couple of days until eventually dying. When explaining why he did it, he says that voices were telling him that by killing both of those two teenagers, he would be saving the world.
Fuck, maybe, Jesus Christ, maybe that Reddit commenter really was real then. Fuck me, oh my god. What? Jesus Christ. Yeah, going out in public's scary, man. What's the name of that old song from Under Oath? It's dangerous business going out of your front door or something? The shit is super true. And it really feels like more and more people are becoming unhinged. I don't know what it is, but it just really feels like more often now than when I was growing up, people are becoming significantly more on edge and dangerous. It might just be like more access to information, but goddamn, this fucking scary.
Claire Miller is a 14-year-old girl that murdered her disabled sister, Helen, that had cerebral palsy. They are charging her for murder as an adult. She's not being charged as a minor. She's being charged as a full adult. So she's
That's
gonna
good
get
news.
these consequences. Bro, she's probably gonna get like life in prison or 100+ years type stuff.
God damn.
Nicola Priest. This is by
I think
far
as TikTok continues to grow, pretty much every criminal ever is going to be able to be traced back to a TikTok account. So literally every criminal from this point forward, I imagine, will be able to watch TikTok videos of them doing the Doja Cat dance or some shit at some point. Because it's just everyone has one now. So literally every single murderer is also going to be a TikToker by extension. That's a pretty wild future.
I'm gonna talk about on the channel. So this woman from the UK named Nicola Priest would post
Thanks,
TikToks
Reese of
mourning her
Innocence.
dead daughter. Her daughter seemed to be like about 2, and I'm sure when people saw this on their For You page, they would, like, you know, leave loving comments like, "Oh no, you're strong, you're gonna be strong." Come to find out, this woman actually murdered her own kid and then went on TikTok post mourning her own daughter. People found this out because you can actually search her up on public records, and it says there that she murdered her kid. She only got 15 years in prison, which is so fucking weird. Why? So yeah, when that information came out, it flipped the story on its head. Now people see this woman as a demon because that's what she is. And if you go back and watch some of the videos, her account is still up, by the way. If you go back and watch some of the videos, it's so fucking creepy seeing, like, just knowing what happened.
Why is
and
her
seeing
account
that she's
still up?
acting like she didn't fucking kill her own daughter.
What? What was her name? Nicola Priest. How is she doing? No, it's down now. Okay, so it must have been up in August. It is down now. That's good news. So far, almost all of them have been. I'm very surprised. Usually they're not. Why just 15 years? I have no fucking clue. I have no idea. I imagine, if I had to take a guess, I would say it's probably the UK. Let's see, in fact. Mom who killed 3-year-old for interrupting her having sex posts... what? Posts apology to her parents. And yes, she was from Solihull, England. She made a fucking YouTube apology video for killing her 3-year-old daughter. She was having sex with her boyfriend and got interrupted. And so she killed her daughter. What was the thought process? It's not like she was going to go back to getting laid after committing a murder in front of the boyfriend. Oh shit, the boyfriend is also implicated in this. The vomiting was the result of the severe beating you were both responsible for inflicting on her. No doubt you irritated by her crying, asking to be let out. It interrupted the two of you when you wanted to have sex. You lost your temper and you were joint participants in the assault. Holy shit. And they got 15 years. It's a fucking joke, man. That's a fucking joke. Thanks, Resub Justinian. Yeah, so they beat the kid to death. Yep, that should be life for both of them, I would say. And what's even wilder is she used it for clout on
CP is
TikTok.
available on TikTok. Whether it be creeps paying little girls to message them, or little girls going out of their way to show off their queefing skills, I'm not lying. You can't fucking believe I'm serious. There
What?
are so many grown, disgusting ass
There's a
men that
queef trend on
are
TikTok?
just looking for children. So the most I could say for this is just protect your children. All right, yeah, that was the iceberg. You
That was a
guys
lot of
let
shit.
me know if
There's a shart trend as well. Now that just sounds like good fun. No one's getting hurt in a shart. Damn. Yeah, that was a lot of shit I'd never even heard of. Watch something goofy now. Yeah, we can watch some charts. $5 million Learjet limo. This? Man, this looks like fucking shit.
The limo jet is a Learjet fuselage that has been retrofitted into a vehicle, and it's street legal and one of the only ones on the planet. So I tell people all the time I was either smart enough or dumb enough to
I would
jump
say.
first into the project.
Oh, this is intense. Coming in hot.
My name is Frank D'Angelo. I'm one of the owners of Jet Setter Incorporated, and behind me I have the limo jet.
Yeah, it looks horrible, man. Gotta be honest with
I've
you.
always had a passion for cars. It really started when I was in the limousine business. I owned a company called Exotic Coach. It's 42 feet long. You know, it's 11 feet 6 inches high. It's about 8 feet wide.
Let me see inside it.
It's difficult. So we did it this
Okay,
way
it's
so that when
pretty
people
cool
ride in, you
inside.
can see that you're really in a jet fuselage. So we put some custom plexiglass pieces. We lit it up with some LED lightings. People really get a kick out of that, and it keeps the feel of the limo jet. We have the big screen TV in the back.
Yeah, it's
with
pretty
the sound
cool.
System. We kind of say 9
Well,
passengers. People can drive.
The outside looks like shit.
But we're using it.
But man, the inside kind of slaps.
I'm gonna go ahead and raise these flaps over here on this side with you over here. So if you take a look in the back, we're gonna show you some of the sound. We have 2 separate sound systems. So we have an interior and we have an.
Yeah. I bet it rides like shit. Well, yeah, I can't imagine this is a very smooth ride. Just look at the fucking front wheels there. It actually just looks like a Hot Wheels car. Taking that out on the road, any pothole's gonna feel like you just ran over a landmine. These Goldfish Drive robotic tanks. What a title.
In a highway full of drivers.
Thanks for some G Fuel Lord and Joey. Hey Joey.
Behind the wheel?
Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well.
Children,
Hope you had a great holiday.
Primates. How about a goldfish? Scientists at Israel's Ben Gurion University have taught goldfish how to drive tiny robotic tanks.
Well, they drive better than
Professor
Florida
Ohad
drivers.
Ben-Shahar starts with the obvious.
Fish don't drive cars.
True.
So we had to train them
Till now.
to understand what we want them to do.
And the easiest way to train a goldfish, or any animal really,
Treats.
is with food. The fish tank has been
82
equipped
gift
with
subs,
LiDAR,
Farmand.
a technology used in some self-driving cars that scans an area using eye-safe laser beams, a computer, and a camera. And the fish have been enticed to direct their watery vehicle toward a pink rectangle on the wall. But
Why
don't worry
goldfish?
about any crashes.
Do it with an octopus. They'll actually be able to drive like a stick shift. They're really smart.
Water tank with sensors, so it doesn't collide with obstacles in the environment in case the fish decides to get too close to a wall, but also with a camera that can sense where the fish is in the water tank and guides the vehicle according to that.
Well, what's the point?
Of the fish.
Finally give the fish a chance.
It's funny to see a fish
Evolution,
driving
baby.
a vehicle, but this study does have scientific merit. Professor Ben-Shahar and his team believe the ability to navigate is a universal trait, and that fish can do far more than we think.
I don't think that its experiment necessarily proves that. They're just chasing treats. Fuck you mean? It's not like that fish is gonna like come out of this and tell his friends like, hey, check this out. Hey, come here, girl. I'm gonna take us to the nearest pet shop and just hop in his hot rod here. They're not really learning to drive or anything. They're just chasing treats, which happens to move it. Rats play Doom. Neural engineer taught rats to play Doom 2.
But now we're focusing on the player, not the played. Neuroengineer Victor Toff managed to get rats to play Doom 2, and here's the main gist. A rat dangles on a polystyrene ball with a pretty sweet looking sweater. By running on the ball, sensors are activated and move the in-game character.
How
A
cute!
small little- You can read Victor's full report in his article on Medium, which includes his
He's playing
full
better than
setup
most
and
games
further
journalists.
explanation. Although his rig, which consists
Maybe that's the
entirely
point of
a
this
3D
experiment.
printer and an Amazon wish list, may entice you to try it out yourself, keep in mind you have to treat the rats with respect.
I want to see. I was hoping they just play the whole video. Oh, here it is. Thanks to resub Moisty in the Prime. Phoenix kills in Tier 1. Paul. Or Pally. Shoot him! Jesus Christ, Stuart, shoot him! Nice. Pop him again. Nice. This guy's good. Alright, now he's starting to fucking pop off. I wouldn't necessarily say he passed Doom 2. There was still plenty of level to go. But he was progressing. Yeah, Stuart Little was really popping off in that one. Chicken chip beef casserole.
Hello, welcome back to Cooking
Hey, April.
with April. So, today I'm going to make chicken chip beef casserole with mashed potatoes.
How could this go wrong? She's just using canned ingredients.
For this recipe, then you'll need milk. And I'm going to mix all these in a bowl. You could probably mix it in the same pan. I like to mix things in my bowl and then pour it on top of the stuff.
No, that makes sense.
You'll need boneless, skinless chicken breast and chicken thighs. That's just what I use.
Thanks,
if you want to
nicely.
use bone in, I'm sure you could. I've never made it that way. But
I think it's normal milk.
it,
It's just the camera's making it look weird.
There's no rule or regulation that says you gotta do it this way. You can do it however you choose to. So let's get started on making this.
I guess we'll see when she pours it. All right, let's ride. Game
so I got
time.
me a clear bowl so you can kind of see what I.
What is that?
But we're gonna. It's all Food Line had, so
Canned mustard?
we're gonna deal with it. They didn't even have the name brand. It's like this is gonna be the gravy sauce. You can you do not have to make mashed potatoes with this. It's just
All
that
right.
it's such a good gravy.
I made a cool noise.
That I like over it.
Why is everything jelly? It's. This is what real gravy looks like. Yeah, see, it was just the camera making the milk look weird.
Good. I don't measure.
I don't even know what we're mixing. We're mixing milk, gravy, and
This is why I like to
mystery
mix it in
yellow jelly.
I like everything to be incorporated together. It's just my OCD.
I'm assuming the
It's-
sauce?
You ain't gotta do any
Maybe?
of it. All right.
Dump in the beets or whatever. Thanks, Risa Vince. The yellow shit was cream of chicken?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we just skip around a little bit, because this is...
And then I'm just gonna
What is
cut
that? Is that bologna?
just bite-sized pieces. And then I've just taken.
That's beef?
Won't be the first. Won't be the last.
It's corned beef.
And
I
we'll just mix
don't
it
think
in
I've ever
here,
seen corned beef in a
like
can,
so.
so I don't know.
Oh, you know what? I didn't have
I
pepper.
can't weigh in on it. Man, this is just a bunch of slop.
Then I'm gonna take my chicken.
It's like actual prison food. I don't know what we're making right now, though. I don't see what purpose that serves. I guess to toss
I'm
the
gonna
chicken in it?
Just bake it in this pan that I already got.
Thanks, Risa. Derp. Yeah, so we're just tossing it. Oh no, that's the whole meal. Man, that kitchen has got to be filthy. Oh shit. Just coming in raw on it?
Oh, throwing it back in there. Did you see that butterfly? Oh, me.
What happened? Whoa! He's a prime, you boy.
And some crowder peas. And my battery's about to die,
Fuck is a
so I
crowder
gotta make
pea?
this fast. Okay, I'm gonna plate it up really, really quick.
I don't know enough about chicken chip beef. It just seemed like it was chicken surrounded by gravy with like a little beef in it. Is that like the whole thing?